already had like 10 sermons this morning. What else in the world do we need to hear? So let's rewind. What'd you hear since you got here? What have you heard already this morning?
Transformation.
Transformation. Guess who it's for? My crazy mother. Him. So look around at whoever's by you and tell them, I'm really glad you came today. Now look back at the exact same person and say, however, this message is for me. However, what I'm hearing this morning is for me. What else did you hear? Kind. What was that? What'd you hear? Freedom. Would that be all right with you? Like, don't let me take your hell from you this early. we still got a workshop to go. What if you decided that? Free. Choosing again in every situation with this knucklehead. Choose freedom with this knucklehead. Like, oh, freedom is a choice. I can keep doing what I've always done. Or go, what's another option for me? Wait, what if I chose freedom here? What if the second I became aware that hook's in me, that I unhooked? For my sake and for theirs. And for the sake of humanity. And for the sake of that baby right back there. And for the sake of the one being born today, that we don't hand this down for 2,000 more years. What's been handed down to us. Innocently, by the way. It's evolution, I hear. It's not quick enough. And we can't exceed our own evolution. So what are we going to do? How are we going to come out from under some of this BS? How are we going to undrink some of that Kool-Aid that we innocently took on? So let's take a look at a few of them. Like, traffic should flow. Fantasy or reality?
Fantasy.
I have a little choir. Fantasy? Fantasy. Traffic should flow. Like, where did you get that? Loco. That's a false thought. Because is it reality-based altogether? No. So reality, sometimes it'll flow, and sometimes it won't. And I won't even be consulted. Oh! So where does it leave me when I don't get what I want? Thank you. They're from the workshop yesterday. Or the board meeting Friday night. And then when you're frustrated, irritated, put out, pitiful, hopeless, how do you live in the world? Oh. So pick your right hand up. Let's just get some of this out of our system. Pick up your dominant hand, lay it right on your forehead, and just let it out. Because this is what we're dealing with. Can you see it? Like you'll pop up out of the bed and run downstairs to have your breakfast, and you'll put bread in the toaster. Well, remember when you ate bread? You'll put bread in the toaster and it'll pop up burnt. You'll start to brush your teeth and it'll come out in a big glob or fall off in the sink. It's like, oh, after all I've done for God, after all those checks I wrote to Unity of Stuart. This is what we're dealing with, folks. So where's the hope in it? Where's the hope in it? That this is the bind of this. Every time I don't get what I want, victim. 2,000 years of it. Is it enough of it? 2,000 years. It's not a rhetorical question. Is that enough of it for you?
Yes.
Is that enough of it? Is it enough of it that we won't hand this down for 7 more generations? So then we can raise children and tell them, now sometimes traffic will flow, honey, and sometimes it won't. And sometimes you'll get invited to the party and sometimes you won't. And sometimes they'll marry you and sometimes they'll divorce you. Reality. To come out of these myths and this fantasy-based, fairy tale-based thinking that is BS. And not to hand it down again. So you're doing fantastically. Take a big deep breath. Let's have a couple more little reviews. People should be kinder. Now, just for the record, that was your board president. So she has had a transformation. Because I'm pretty sure Friday night she was still believing it. She just didn't believe it applied to her. So people shouldn't be kinder unless they are. They'll be kind sometimes and not kind, like me. Sometimes kind, sometimes not so much. And until those aspects of us are integrated, that we understand what we teach in unity, basic unity principles, that we are alpha and everything in between. So then, am I unkindness? Altogether? Yes. Sometimes. I am kind and unkind. I care and I don't. I'm generous and withholding. I'm calm and afraid. And I'm always going to be somewhere in that continuum. Somewhere in that spectrum, based on the situation I'm in, based on the situation of my life, the situation of the body, the situation of a relationship, based on the circumstance, I'll be moving about on that continuum of a human being, doing what human beings have been doing since creation. Doing what human beings have been doing since recorded history. So nothing new under the sun. Now get a sense of this then. If after today you have been transformed, you've had a spiritual healing, a spiritual awakening, you've dealt with your exception, and you could no longer be shocked by anything, including traffic, or the look on their face, or their tone of voice, what would that be like?
Freedom.
Freedom. A little lighter? Then how would you live in the world? Now, if you go home and start practicing some of this, they'll think you're on a new medication or that you've started meditating again. This is a good thing. How would you be differently if you understood there's nothing new under the sun? There's no human behavior. There's no human attitude. There's no human beingness that's not a repeat. So how would you be in relationship to it then? How would you relate to our knuckleheadness if you understood this is nothing new? More calm? A little more presence? You wouldn't need to go to the cinema. We're your cinema. Watch us. Everything from A to Z under there. So, who would you be? So let's do a little true confessions. How do you react when you're under the influence of the mind, when you're drunk on thinking, and the thinking is people should be kinder? People should be kinder, and you're under its effects. How do you treat people when you're believing they should be kinder and they're not? Unkindly. Less kind. Get specific. How do you treat them? Spiritual types. We're really good at this. When you believe, when you're dictating to them, you should be kinder, you should be kinder, you should be kinder, and they're not. How do you treat them? Specifically. Yell at them. Lecture them. Manipulate them. Control them. Shame them. Guilt them. I'm a mind reader. Guess how I know yours? Then cut off, shut down, withhold, gossip. Teach them a lesson. Teach them a lesson in kindness. Now, this is what we're dealing with, folks. So I am perpetuating out into the world the very thing I claim I want to end in the world. So who's doing it? Everybody. So who checked me into hotel hell? Who checked you in? This is good news. Hold up your key. Hold it up. I hold the key. I can check out anytime I want to. I can check out of Hell Hotel anytime I want to. Turn to somebody and tell them, I've got the key. Tell them, I've got the key. Now turn back and tell them, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to use this key. I'm going to use this key. I don't only have the key, I'm going to use this key. And I'm going to operate grounded in reality. With God as reality. One power and one presence. I am that. What would you defend? And they say, you're so bossy. And your response would be, I know. You should be me. Nobody knows. They say, you're so controlling, Martha. It's like, I'm aware of it at times. And it's usually when I'm afraid. So I'm working on that. So if I can catch myself, I'll do less of it. And if I can't catch myself and you see it in me, if you'll point it out to me, I'll take a look at it. Because I don't like me when I'm that way either. So you want me to be less controlling. I want me to be less controlling. We have everything in common. Let's get married. Now, for those of you that were here yesterday, you already know people won't let me do their marriage ceremonies anymore. Do you see why? I cannot support the myth. I cannot support the fantasy. So then the vows are party A, party B. Do you understand party A? Party B will be quickly offended, easily provoked, sensitive, reactive, underhanded, resistant, unbending, thinking black and white, blame you, criticize you, be uptight, serious, defensive. Well, think on that. And party A, do you understand? They'll leave crumbs on the counter. Newspaper will not look like it did when it was delivered. Socks on the floor. Dishes in the sink. Won't even scrape a dish.
Empty toilet paper roll.
And empty a toilet. Who in the world would leave an empty toilet paper roll?
She does. She does.
So then can you see how if you could say yes to this, you're more in reality? Then this is what's going to occur. Then you couldn't be shocked when it occurs. It's like, where's the person I fell in love with? It's like in your imagination. Where I always, in your fantasy is where that person is. Back here at the ranch, it's just us chickens. Human beings doing what human beings do for 2,000 recorded years. Then if you want to marry us, welcome to it. So turn to somebody by you. Put your hand right on their head and say, heal. Of this, and now take your power back and raise your right hand and put it right on your own head, but instead of this away, it is this away. Heal me from this. So I'm absolutely delighted to be here with you. I love what I do. I mentor and I torment. And some of them pay me. And do you have a sense of what you have here at Unity of Stuart?
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of this? It's like you are miracle makers. So Linda says, don't bring your check. I said, bring your check. Bring your doggone check. Bring 3 or 4 and keep making these miracles. Keep making these miracles. Keep making this possible for that baby back there and you as a baby. And next month and next year and 100 years from now, that people can receive this message and receive and embody transformation. To come into touch with God as real. God that is real. God that is reality-based. Always present. Always an option. And less of this. And more of this. And a new possibility for humanity that you and I create. create. And if anybody else could do it, they would. So guess who it is? It's us. It's us. So now turn to somebody and tell them, I'm a miracle maker. I'm a miracle maker. I'm a miracle maker, and I'm going to be about making miracles. You also have a miracle maker as a leader. Are you aware of it? So minister to her. It looks like she's the minister. Just don't believe it. So sometimes she'll minister, and sometimes she'll be really receptive to being ministered to. The human being. So bolster that. Serve that for your sake and for the sake of the miracles. And to do it consciously, purposefully, and I know that you will. And to cancel what you think you have to do at 12:30 and stay here so I can torment you a hair more. And if you know anybody out there in the world that has suffered just enough, text them or call them and tell them she's crazy as a loon, and just get them over here. Do anything you can to get them over here by 12:30. And then back there on that table are Martha Creek talks. Talk. 12 talks from various Unity ministries around. Now here's the deal. I am committed to getting this message to the whole of humanity. And I'm asking you to be a co-inspirator. So this CD is actually an MP3. If you don't know what that is, don't take it. It'll frustrate you. MP3, that means you can get a lot on a little thing. Plays in computers, some cars. Now, it's the opposite of copyrighted. The opposite of copyrighted. So duplicate it. Use it, teach from it, email it, post it, pull clips from it. Do anything you can from it. It's meant to seed the message. So I can do this much, but together we can do this much. Then together we can do that much. So you're welcome to pick that up back there. And then put a donation in that little basket, because I take those donations, have some more made, take them up the road to the next place. That's how it goes. You're welcome to have that. And then hang around. Transformation. Changing forms. Living a liberated life. Living a life freer than I was even this morning when I walked through that door. And if I can serve you in any way, get in touch with me. MarthaCreek.com. All the contact information's there. I'm also going to be facilitating a women's retreat down in Jupiter in the fall. So sign up. There's flyers and registration. Get down there if you can. And immerse yourself in truth and reality. And I'll look forward to seeing you anywhere I can. I'm on my way to Melbourne. If you know anybody north, send them to Unity of Melbourne next week. Saturday and Sunday there. And together we can do what I cannot do alone. I love you and can't help it.